This is going to be good. This is going to be different. Interesting content for my fans. The legendary Toad's Place. Stories from New Haven's famed music venue. We're going to transition from pro wrestling into the music industry. Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. Breaking news here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel for Chaos Corner. We are coming to you live to tape 25 feet below the surface of the earth for a special edition, another episodic YouTube adventure here on Storytime. Fans, you're not going to want to miss this one. You guys know about my 40-year journey in pro wrestling, my 30-plus year career as a pro wrestling manager, my over 50 years as a researcher, a historian, an agent, a producer, a scout, a fan, a mark. That's right, I said it, a mark. So you know I've been around from coast to coast and pillar to post and border to border. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. You guys are not going to want to miss this story time. I may break it up into segments. I'm probably going to have to because this is where we're going. Right here in the Constitution State, in the greater New England tri-state Northeast area, in the shadows of Titan Towers. A place that I worked throughout the 80s into the 90s. Had a couple of different stints there as a doorman, aka security, and worked for several bands behind the scene, on stage security at this venue. Very historic place, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this. A little change of pace as Christmas is less than a week away. Merry Christmas to everyone out there, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it, and that's a shoot. Shout out to my moderators, the OTS Tribal Queen and Austin Nance, who have been a big part of this show in 2024 as my moderators. Holding it down, keeping it real, and maintaining it, because this isn't a fucking podcast. This is a show. Nobody works harder for you than I do. 2,500 videos I put up in the year of 2024 in 365 days. Let that marinate. Over 700,000 viewers this week. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And we've garnered over 1,500 new subscribers here on the channel. Now remember, this isn't better than anyone else. I'm not trying to compete with anybody else. This is its own unique channel. Because I'm a unique guy. At least that's what I've been told. I started my journey here in YouTube. I got my account and first signed up, I don't know, in 2017, I believe. And I didn't start posting my own personal videos about my own pro wrestling career and my family and friends and the different shows that I do and the episodic YouTube adventures that I present to you. This is out of motivation, out of passion, out of love. This is a nice temporary distraction, a stress reliever for me. And hopefully it is for you. And hopefully you're better off when you walked out of here than when you walked in. So you can hold a conversation at your next Christmas party or holiday party or Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. When you go to a venue, around a water cooler with your coworkers, your family, your friends, the next pub, tavern, restaurant that you go to, so you know what the fuck you're talking about. Because you don't just get views and opinions here. You get facts, actual research. That's what makes this channel different. Again, not competing with anybody. So I want you to sit back and relax. I'm probably going to do this in parts. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you go up to the description, the bio, not only was I a pro wrestling manager for 30 plus years and still active today as a color commentator broadcaster for my home company at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. 3 decades as a manager who took the fucking bumps with all the heroes, villains, young lions, rookies, you name it, I've been in the ring with them. I was allowed to work with those stars and talent, and I'm proud of that. And of course, my 40-year journey, as I said, I am the old man brand, the over 50 demo god. 25 years behind the walls, former bodyguard, bounty hunter with the original bad boy in pro wrestling, Dr. D. David Schultz. Of course, along with a few high courts. That's what I did. Private investigator, repo man, concierge, consultant. That's what you're looking at. A man that wore many hats. And of course, working bodyguard and security and venue security and for certain bands doing their security all over the Northeast, all the way down to Florida. And every bar, pub, club you could think of. This is all rolled up into one. Read the description up top. This is who I am, and that's why this show and this channel is unique, because of the connection of reality and into what everyone else looks at as a fan. I've worked shows and events for everybody from Jimmy Buffett to Rod Stewart, Metallica, LL Cool J, Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane, New Edition. The list goes on and on. I can't even remember a quarter of them. Especially that Metallica concert where we literally saved about 15 people's lives for rushing the stage. We must have threw out about 100 people to the paddy wagon that night. And of course, the bigger venues in the Northeast area, it really was a way of life for me at one time. While I was juggling the pro wrestling manager career, while I was juggling being behind the walls with society's worst, serving this community in this country with people you wouldn't even want to look at. Walk a mile in my shoes. That's why I am the guardian of chaos. That's what the chains represent. And that's why this is a unique channel and show and why you're here. So the list goes on and on with the music industry. This is my opening monologue. We're already 7 minutes in, and this is what we're going to do, fans. As you see, the chains just continue to slide in my life. That's representation. Right there. That's destiny. That's karma. Good karma. Stay mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually fit. Because if he's for us, no one else can be against us. We're in trying times. Wars, rumors of wars, illegal invasion, crime, drones, UFOs, who knows? Natural disasters, the budget, the economy, the upcoming inauguration. There's things that you haven't planned for, and neither have I, but stay prepared. Again, live in faith, not fear, if I could throw out that message here on this channel, which you know I always do. And I said it at the very beginning, this is where we're jumping into. I worked at this venue, this legendary venue, I want to say early to mid 80s, into the late 80s, and I had a second stint there in the 90s. I've already showed it. I've already said it. The legendary Toad's Place. Here in the greater New England tri-state Northeast area, in the shadows of Titan Towers. I said it once, I said it again, I'll continue to say it. Stories from New Haven's famed music venue by Brian Phelps and Randall Beach. We're going to be here for a little while. This was written in 2021, I believe. Or 2020, released in 2021, 2022. Remember the time frame here on the time machine for Chaos Corner. I'm going to start off with all the greetings and salutations, history, New England, music, rock and roll. Again, a little different than what I normally present here on the channel, so I'm hoping that you're going to be interested in this as a nice distraction as we go into the holidays. A little break away from the business, the industry that we all love so much, plus its connection to my background. I had to pick this up. I had to present it to you guys so you get to know more about me, this area, what we've all done, and especially about the legendary Toad's Place. I'll never forget hanging out on the green, early 80s, middle 80s, going to an Institute of Higher Learning right down the street from Yale. No, I didn't go to Yale. You'll find out the connection here for Yale and Toads, which is virtually right on the property of Yale, right in the hub, in the heart of downtown New Haven, the Elm City, if you will. I was a few minutes up the block. Let's call it Southern Connecticut, that area. What'd I say? Going to school, and working at Toads. And man, whether it be at Cutler's Record Rack back in the day, unbelievable place where you can go get your vinyl, spinning, scratching. Phil Cutler, Cutler's Radio, Cutler's Record Rack. Go duck, duck, go it. Don't go Google it like everyone else. Duck, duck, go it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The legendary brewery, which was right there on the corner. Of course, Toad's Place. Right up the road from the New Haven Coliseum, the legendary New Haven Arena, the New Haven Green. Just to give you, right off of 95 and 91, the main artery up and down the East Coast, all the way into New England, all the way up to Canada, depending on whether you hop on 81, 84. It's like a crossroads right here. That's why this is such a crazy place to be. This whole area, living here, growing up here in the greater New England tri-state Northeast area, there's nothing like it. I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent, good or bad, but holy but Jesus, what a... Talk about rat race. Talk about living someplace high profile, high density population, many people, a melding pot of cultures. I mean, this is it. And then this place right here. So I'm going to start off with some greetings and salutations and dedications. And then I'll get into some of the stories. Like I said, I used to hang out at the Green, Broadway, the brewery, the old Agora Ballroom, unbelievable venue. There was many other venues right in the Toads area place. Like I said, New Haven Coliseum, the Great American Music Hall. I mean, it'll all come back to me. My mind's like a lazy Susan. It'll come back around. But let's dive into some rock and roll and the history of Toads and its connection to yours truly and the whole music industry. It really was quite a ride. You guys know I've been in movies, so I've been in that part, acting, the movie career. Yeah, B-movies, I get it. National TV, television shows, Jerry Springer, so on and so forth. There isn't anything I haven't done. That's why I wear several different hats and had a modicum of success in all different industries when it came to movies, theater, pro wrestling, sports entertainment, music, law enforcement, protecting this community. That's what you're looking at right here. Very humbled and honored and thankful and blessed. Trust me when I tell you. So let's start off again. The legendary Toads Place. Stories from New Haven's famed music venue. Yeah, I know I repeated it, man. I know. But that's what I do. Let's start off with the testimonials. What I loved about Toad's Place is that they let you do more than just show up and set your band up and play. You could actually curate some kind of show that was interesting to people. Different. Quote, Cyndi Lauper. I have fond memories all around of Toad's Place. We always loved playing there. It seemed like every show we did there was great. It's a great club. Al Anderson of NRBQ. I've always said that the best way to tell if a band is any good or not is to hear them in a club like Toad's Place. We love that joint. Huey Lewis of Huey Lewis and the News. 'Cause that's the power of love. Dun, dun, dun. No? I want a new drug. One that won't spill. One that don't cost too much or come in a pill. I want a new drug. No? Sing along with me. Too much? Too soon? Too late? Huey Lewis and the News. I loved Toad's Place. It gave aspiring artists and musicians in Connecticut a chance to discover who they were musically and the freedom to strengthen what they would need in order to have any chance of having a career in music. Looking back, I can clearly see that Brian applied the same kind of a commitment, veracity, and focus that he did when I used to see him in the dojo. Karate! Ha! Long live Toads. Michael Bolton. There was always a heightened sense of excitement when you played at Toad's. Everybody knew it was the best place to play. And Toad's has this active roster of national acts coming through, which is very attractive. A great place to see a show and hang out. Christine Ullman from Rebel Montez. Christine Ullman, Rebel Montez. When you play at Toad's, you feel like you hit the big time. It has that aura. Cynthia Lyon from 8 to the Bar. I couldn't say enough about Toad's Place. It's such an important piece of American music history. Soul is one of those things that's impossible to describe. But you know it when you feel it. And Toad's Place has it overflowing out into the streets. Zach Deputy. Testimonials here at the Toad's Place on Chaos Corner, Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel, as we delve into the music industry and the legendary Toad's Place. Those days at Toad's were a wonderful part of my life. Frank Sims of the Sims Brothers Band. From my perspective, it's not difficult to get lost like a sock in this spin cycle of traveling and touring. Cities, dates, venues begin to blend together to create one larger experience until you're left arguing with your tour manager about which way is north. Wow. But there are a few places that care so much about our experience that they will stand apart from the others and stand apart from the crowds forever. Toad's Place is that. Caring, friendly, helpful staff, creating an environment that I'm proud to create within. I'm thankful for Toad's Place. Slug from Atmosphere. It's quite the name. Toad's Place has been a Tower of Power favorite for over 4 decades. We played there too many times to count and always loved it. We became personal friends with the owners over the years and have many, many friends who we've met at Toad's still to this day. Wow. The gigs were always really exciting because the place was packed to the brim and the crowd was super energetic and loud. We always walked over early, before sound check, just to see and hang out with our dear friends. Afterward, in the dressing room, the owners would have a huge stack of Sally's Pizza waiting for us. That's right, famous as the best in the country. Right there on Worcester Street and Worcester Square. Sally's, Pepe's, Abate's. Right down the street from Modern. Talk about the king of our beats. It's right here in this area. Research it. New York, Chicago. It's right here. Afterward, in the dressing room, we talked about the most famous pizza, Sally's and Pepe's. We'd wind up hanging out till the wee hours and never got tired of it. I spent many a nights in those dressing rooms downstairs. The stories they could tell. My name's on the wall somewhere down there, too. Toad's Place is unbelievable. If you ever get a chance to visit, you must go. If you ever get a chance to read this book, purchase it and pick it up. It's like going through a time machine. Toad set the bar for all other rock nightclubs. If those walls could talk, we'd all be in big trouble. Emilio Castillo, the band leader for Tower of Power.
Motion detected at front camera.
Motion detected at front camera. Just know that I'm always watching. And you know and I know. And I know that you know that you're watching. You got to stay safe in this day and age. Protect your family and your friends. You never know what's coming in this year 2025. And that's a shoot, and I mean that. And that's what's different about this show. We mix everything together to keep you informed and entertained into truth and reality. It's the stage itself that makes Toads a great place to play. Wide, deep, and the people are right there next to you. The Christmas shows, OMG. The energy that is crowd is inspiring. I especially remember the night after 9/11. I had a show at Toads, and the American pride and resilience and patriotic fervor was heartwarming and goosebump inducing. But my favorite Toad story is this. On the souls of my grandchildren, I swear, I played the night after the Rolling Stones and Bob Dylan. It's the stage. Enough room and yet an intimate place where you get feedback from the people. Not like huge venues. That's why the big guys went there. I love Toads, and I want to go back. John Valby. That's right. Dr. Dirty himself, John Valby, the legendary Toads place. Must have seen myself personally. I know I worked at least one event for Valby there at Toads, and I probably attended another handful or half dozen. You know, John Valby. Eat, bite, fuck, suck, gobble, no, chew, nipple, put some hair, pie, finger, fuck, screw, moose, piss, cat, put, orangutan, tit, seat, pussy, camera, crack, big line, shit. No, was that too fast? Go back and rewind to see if you can check it out, even on the replay. Now, as I said, this was written by Brian Phelps and Randall Beach, who's a local, unbelievable columnist here in this area. Brian, one of the co-owners of Toad's Place. Really, even the cover is incredible. That damn frog. There's a place just around the bend, the same place where it all began. It's the best, man. You just can't beat it. And later on, when the place gets heated, get ready, because it's a wild weekend. It's a Wild Weekend by NRBQ. Now, you know NRBQ's connection to pro wrestling, right? Captain Lou Albano? Big Al Anderson? Come on, man. Also worked an event for them there as well, and I must have seen them there a handful of times over the years as well. Again, I basically, as a young man from 17, 18 years old into my early, middle, late 20s, lived at Toad's Place and worked there. And then came back in 90s for a second stint, but I was already past that stage of doing things and took the second stint a little shorter of a time frame there at Toads. I was just happy to be a small part of it. And then, of course, I spent more time there socially than I did working there. And, of course, I remember Big Tank, working with him, and we'll get on to that later. That's another story. Whiskey, yeah, I remember the boys. Some of my own guys that we hung out at the gym also worked there for a short time themselves. Not myself, themselves. So we're about 25 minutes in. We're going to do this in pieces. We're going to continue with some greetings and salutations and the testimonials before we get out of here. We'll probably make this about a half an hour to start off our book review here on Chaos Corner of the legendary Toad's Place and my connection. What I loved about Toad's Place is that they let you do more than just show up. I think I read that, Cyndi Lauper already. Here's Randall Beach. Let me give you a background on the gentleman that wrote this book and lived the life at Toad's Place and probably know as much as anybody. So they are an authority on this legendary nightclub venue. Randall Beach was the rock music critic for the New Haven Register from 1978 to 1984, covering many shows at Toad's Place. He later wrote a book, Rock Music, for the New Haven Advocate and the Hartford Courant and Billboard magazine. He was also a reporter and columnist for the same New Haven Register. In addition, he writes a column for Connecticut Magazine. So to give you Randall's local lore here in the Constitution State, the Nutmeg State, if you will, I guess now. The other co-author, Brian Phelps, his music background was nothing more than listening to AM radio or watching an Elvis Presley flick. He had no idea where his path in life would lead. Brian met Mike Spernoodle, owner of the then new Toad's Place, in 1975, and eventually Brian, as I said earlier, took full control of the business. Brian later met with longtime associate Randall Beach and decided to write this memoir. Brian was my manager. He was my boss when I was there at Toads. What else am I missing here before we move on to part one and we get into the book? Anyone who has lived near New Haven, Connecticut in the past 40 plus years has surely heard of Toe's Place. With a capacity of under 1,000 fans, approximately 750, and they jammed many more than that, well over 1,000, many times, breaking all the rules. Oh, what I say, man, I'm not giving anything up here. It's facts. And you know I tell it like it is. Toads has served as the perfect spot for musicians who prefer smaller venues. U2 played one of their first U.S. concerts there on their Boy Tour. In 1978, Bruce Springsteen was in New Haven and arrived at Toads unannounced and got up and played. The surprises kept coming and the club was attracting big names as well as up-and-comers. In 1989, the Rolling Stones played a surprise show on a Saturday night, giving 700 fans the night of their dreams. Nothing could have been better than the Rolling Stones in downtown New Haven. It was unimaginable. That's only a taste of the stories that are uncovered in this book. Randall Beach and Toad's owner, Brian Phelps. Sorry about that, Brian. I know you're going to see this. Recall the legendary shows and behind-the-scenes stories. This is going to be one heck of a musical ride. So I hope I'm relating this to you the right way and something that you're going to want to consume. It really is an unbelievable book. Again, I just picked it up from Barnes & Noble. I haven't even read it yet, but I lived most of it. So we're going to get together and we're going to read this together and review this together for the very first time here on Chaos Corner. So drop an elbow on that like button. Leave a comment. Be here for the premiere chat. Share this. Subscribe. Get us into the algorithm. Help out your boy, man. And I'll say that to say this, because I tell it like it is. We're diving into the greatest rock venue, perhaps across the country. Legendary people from Billy Joel to Bruce Springsteen to U2 to the Rolling Stones. Bob Dylan, who just showed up and played. It's a cut above, just like this channel and yours truly. I'll say that to say this, because I tell it like it is. Don't go anywhere. Come on back. Are you ready, Austin? Are you ready, Jen? Are you ready, fans? Don't you dare miss it.